All right, so I'm 100% not going to read you this whole article, but this seems to be making its rounds on the internet, at least amongst the feminist circles. So I'm just going to read it. So this is from Dame Magazine, which I know nothing about Dame Magazine. I have not done my research on Dame Magazine, but I'm assuming that Dame Magazine, it sounds like it's some feminist crap, or it sounds like it's for women. And Dame, who the hell says Dame anymore? It ain't 17 Magazine, so this is probably for women of older age. I'd say 35 to infinity. So this article says Keanu is lucky as fuck to be dating Alexandra Grant. Okay, let's look at this picture. First of all, they got him in black and white, which makes him look older. All right, so they're already coping. She looks, apparently she's 46, and I swear she does not look a day under 60. My mom is 73, and she looks better than this woman. And my mom has had health issues for years, but she's taking care of herself to some degree, and she's an esthetician, or she was an esthetician, so she knows how to, make her face look younger as far as using certain creams and certain facial moisturizers and things like that. This woman is a wreck, and I don't know what's going on with Keanu. Keanu seems to be one of the most level dudes I've ever seen in my life as far as life philosophy, and very humble, or so it seems. And he's one of the most likable men on the planet of the earth. And he has taken the internet by storm, particularly the last 5 years, with certain memes and certain articles written about him that show his more human side and things like that, and that's cool. I respect Keanu. I've loved he's made some of the greatest movies over the years, some of my favorite movies. Point Break is great, Matrix is great. He's been in a lot of movies. I can't think of any more right now, but he's just been in a ton of movies, ton of great movies. That samurai movie, and he did a film called Johnny Mnemonic, etc. He's been in a lot of cool movies. Obviously, the John Wick trilogy, and that's all I can think of right now. But I'm sure there's a lot more. He was in that vampire movie, Dracula. So he's done a ton of great films. Obviously, there's a lot more that I probably am just forgetting. But one of the most iconic actors of our time, right up there with Harrison Ford and Tom Cruise and etc. So he's probably obviously one of the most successful men, but he's had a lot of heartbreak and blah blah blah. So because of that, it showed his human side and blah blah blah. So this is interesting because this is a feminist wet dream is what this is. Keanu is lucky to be dating Alexandra Grant. I have no idea who this woman is. Never seen her before in my life. Apparently she's an actress, but she's also an artsy woman or something, blah blah blah. Seriously, I'm not going to. They mention George Clooney. They mention Bradley Cooper, Benedict Cumberbatch, Oscar Isaac, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Paul Rudd. All these guys are older guys, and they're mentioning them in of course, Leo DiCaprio, and the guys who are quintessential perennial bachelors. So this whole article is just a bunch of feminist splaining about why Keanu is lucky to have Alexandra Grant. And of course, obviously this is just a whole bunch of hogwash, and nobody gave a fuck about her before this. Nobody knew who the hell she was. So to me, I read this article. You can go ahead and read this article. Like I said, it's Dame Magazine. Keanu Reeves is lucky as fuck to be dating Alexandra Grant. Like I said, they got him in black and white because it makes him look older. They've got this picture of him that makes him look super old. Now, I don't know what he's thinking. Every man, maybe he needs a mother. Maybe he feels that he really likes her soul, and he really is just so damn humble and real and genuine that he's dating somebody who is not attractive outwardly at all and looks older. I mean, she's 46 and she looks like she's 70. So, It's just maybe he's doing it as a publicity stunt. Maybe, I mean, it doesn't mean they're getting married. Doesn't mean they have true love. It just means they're dating. Keanu has dated women in the past. It's just he's been hurt for a long time because his wife and child died. You know, his fiance, I believe, who was carrying his baby, died and took the baby with him. I think that's what happened. So he's been a hurt person, which makes sense. So this would be a cope on his part, because he can obviously get somebody who is extremely attractive. And as a man, you would. Just like a woman would go for a man who has money over a man who doesn't have money. It's just the way things are. Okay? Women complain. It's funny how women, they're just such hypocrites. They're just such damn hypocrites. They will complain left and right when a guy like Leo DiCaprio is banging 19-year-old supermodels on his yacht all day, every summer, in between movies. They'll hate him and say he's a misogynist and this, that, and the third. Of course, they don't say anything about the women who are willingly doing it, whether he's paying them or not. Nobody calls out Dan Bilzerian, and all the women these guys are with are whores. Right? Nobody calls the women whores. They're just mad at the men. Like, oh, these guys are misogynists, but they don't say anything about the women. It's like you are looking through rose-colored glasses at everything, and you're just a hypocrite. But then when something like this happens, they'll pounce on it and be like, oh, it's true love, woo, woo, woo. But they won't say the real truth is that women want a man with money. So the fact that Keanu Reeves is so selfless, he's one of the most selfless men ever. He's so humble and down to earth that he's willing to date probably a broken person deep inside after what happened to his beautiful, gorgeous wife. If you've seen pictures of her, she was gorgeous. And his child, they died. That he's probably wants a mother. He wants some nurturing, because men need nurturing, believe it or not. We never get it. We never get validation. We never get compliments from women because they're all vapid and incredibly narcissistic. And they're just black holes of selfishness. This is the type of woman that he's choosing to get because she's nurturing, probably, because she's actually loving, probably, and all the other Hollywood whores that he meets or try to throw themselves at him because he's rich and famous in LA. He can't relate, or he doesn't feel that they care about him, and this woman probably cares, and he's like, damn, here's somebody who actually cares. So he's looking past the fact that she's not attractive at all and she looks 20 years older than she actually is. And it's funny how they try to cope here and they try to make him look so much older with this black and white video, this black and white photo. Like, look at that shit. That's obvious manipulation. They put him in black and white and they put her in full color. Like, oh, she's so riveting. Keanu is lucky as fuck to be dating. You're high. Dame Magazine. He could be banging 19-year-olds. He might be lucky in the sense that he found somebody who actually is nurturing, and this is the only woman on the planet who's nurturing. That Keanu Reeves, a rich famous guy that everybody loves, classic Sigma male. Okay, everybody loves him. And this is the best he could get for somebody who's loving and nurturing. That's what this is really about. He's lucky as fuck to be dating. He's not lucky as fuck. He's probably taking what he can get. This is the type of fruit that a man this loving and humble and down to earth can get. This is the best prototype for a man that we have in existence today. Most humble, most genuine, most down to earth guy who still rides. He still rides the subway. Doesn't dress great. He dresses like a regular person in his regular day-to-day life when he's not out doing PR stuff and advertising his movies. He dresses with t-shirt and jeans. Rides on the subway. Gives up his seat to women on the subway. He's the best guy in the world, and this is the best he can get because women are not trained or bred or raised in our society to be nurturing and loving to men. They're not. And he's a beautiful soul, finds another soul who's somewhat beautiful in her nurturing or whatever he sees in her, because it's obviously not her looks. And then these feminist psychos jump on this and say he's lucky as fuck. No, he just chose somebody who's better than on the inside than all the rest of the vapid Hollywood whores who have nothing more to offer than sex, and they're just trying to take his money. That's what this is. Now, all this is 100%. The reason why women are so wet over this, it's a feminist wet dream. And the reason why is because they get to ride the cock carousel. This is what they think. Oh, this just proves I can ride the cock carousel. And when I'm 46 and look like that, I can get somebody as great as that. That's what they're saying. That's what they think this is. That's what this is an extrapolation for. And if you read this, I fully hope that you read this. What this message is, if you read the words in this article, like I said, I'm not going to read it and go through it, but because it's kind of lengthy. But what the writer is actually saying is this. First of all, it's anti-male propaganda. It's anti-male in power propaganda because they like I said, they list off a bunch of older men, okay, and they say, oh, all these guys are creeps because they choose younger women, implying that the younger women are easier to manipulate because they're dumber, whereas older women are more intimidating because they're wiser and they've been around. So men with money and older men stay away from the older women who've been around the block, and then they gravitate towards the younger women because the younger women are more easy to be impressionable and things like that, right? But what the writer fails to acknowledge is that men don't like to be with women who have a lot of miles on them in the bedroom. We don't like to be with old used up sluts. Now, she might not be this person, Alexandria Grant. She might be a really good person. The fact that she's not attractive, she's not bad looking, she's not ugly, she seems like a very nice woman. But the fact that she's not hot and she doesn't get our dick hard, okay, to be vulgar and play into the feminist disgust, okay, because that's what happens when we're attracted to somebody. Our dicks get hard, and just like when you women are attracted to a man with money, your pussies get wet because you see security and an opportunity to to take his stuff and manipulate him. Okay, when we see an attractive woman, our dicks get hard. My dick doesn't get hard when I look at this woman. I think, oh, she's a nice older lady. She seems like someone's mother, very kind. That's nice, but that does not get my dick hard. So this woman has probably not been, maybe when she was 20, she was all right. She's not very attractive, and so she probably does not have a high lay count. But who knows? She's a feminist. Feminists, like I said, like everybody knows, tend to be very loose morally and sexually. So who knows what she's been doing the last 20 years. But that's what this is. This is a feminist wet dream. Oh, I get to go sleep around until I'm 46, and I look like crap, but I can still land me a Keanu because he's the quintessential greatest guy in the world, right? He's the pick. If you're going to pick any celebrity who you'd want to be friends with, if you're going to pick any celebrity who you trust to have your back, if you're going to pick any person, celebrity or not, who you know would be honest and kind and genuine, etc., it would be Keanu Reeves. He's earned that role. He's earned that award in the last 5 years, from the internet, from the video showing him on the subway giving up his seat to a woman, from the video showing him, helping people on the street, doing whatever it is they're doing, helping them, giving out food to the homeless, or just sitting down with a homeless person. I saw one picture of him just sitting down and talking to a homeless person out of nowhere, like kind of weird almost shit. Like, I don't think he meant to do it because of publicity, but he's one of those guys that does something because he thinks it's the right thing to do, which is cool. Like, that's appreciative. I appreciate that in general. But he's the catch. He's a fucking catch. Everybody loves Keanu Reeves. So this is what these women think. Oh, I can go fuck around for 20 years and I'll still land me a Keanu. And then they do this backwards reverse psychology shit. Oh, Keanu's lucky to have her. Oh, really? Maybe in a bizarro world, and the only reason he's really lucky to have her is probably because she's the only nurturing woman on earth, because she looks very kind. Although, I don't know, she's a feminist, so who the hell knows what she does? Blood sacrifices, freaking rituals. Who knows? I'm not saying she does that, but these feminists are into the occult. I attach feminism with the occult. They have no problem killing 10 million babies a year through Planned Parenthood. And yet they claim to be the fairer sex. They're more moral than men. Yet they kill their own babies, and they support it, and they advocate for it, and they picket on the street for the ability to kill their own babies. But yet they're more moral than men? I don't think so, Dame Magazine. I don't buy your bullshit. And this article is simply just throwing men under the bus. Some part of this comes down to our refusal to acknowledge that women can have sex for pleasure at all. We still behave as if female sexuality is or should be purely reproductive. No, we don't. No, we don't. Evolutionary psychologists spout pseudoscience about how beauty standards were invented to separate fertile women from infertile ones, as if anyone has ever wanked to a poster of Ariana Grande in the hopes of getting it pregnant. Nice dumbass logic. That's not even a straw man. That's just fucking flawed logic. Women drop off the radar at around 35 because supposedly that's when their baby making days are done. No, that's when they become less attractive physically. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now that shit might be hardwired into our genes based on baby making, which is our part of our reproductive system, which is part of sexuality, which I guarantee a woman is going to argue until the cows come home that wanting a man with money is part of her sexuality. Okay, and it's going to be hardwired into her genes. It's just the way it is, what I've been hearing for years whenever I argue that women only want men for our money. That women won't date a man who doesn't have money. It's just the way it is. Who's going to protect us when we have a baby? Okay, well, by that logic, when you lose your looks at 35, it's just the way it is because we don't want to have a baby with somebody who's over the hill. Sorry, it's just the way it is. It's just nature, right, ladies? You fucking hypocrites. Yet the other part of this equation is darker. We behave as if only young women are sexual because young women are relatively powerless. See? So she's trying to imply that men are creeps. She's trying to imply that men are low-key, trying to use power to take advantage of dumb women, and the younger woman is, the dumber she is. This is what this is getting at. Right? Specifically, we live in a society that behaves as if men having power over women is desirable. We don't, but that's what women want. So on the one hand, you can't sit there and say, oh, we live in a society that behaves as if men having power over women is desirable, and then on the other hand, claim that you deserve a man with money because money is power, and that's why you are chasing a man with fame and money, is because you want that power. Ladies, you want to live vicariously through the man. Okay? Specifically, we live in a society that behaves as if men having power over women is desirable rather than dangerous for the woman in question. Oh, so women should have all the power. Women should have all the money. Okay, then why don't you take care of a man? Why don't you pay for his bills like men are always paying for your bills? Oh, but yeah, it gets kind of quiet when that argument happens, right? Because you're hypocrites. Because you're hypocrites. When you get money and when you get the power, then all of a sudden you don't want to pay for any man. Actually, no man wants to date you because what's the point? You're hypergamous, so you want somebody of equal or greater wealth than you. So where does that leave you? Women certainly don't date down. They certainly don't date men below their economic status or social status. So that's why somebody like that girl from God, what the hell's her name? That girl from the Harry Potter series, Emma, whatever the hell her name is. Emma Knight, I can't remember her name. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. That feminist, why nobody wants to date her. And then she she has the nerve to say she's self-dating or self... what's that? How's that go? She's dating herself or some shit. Let me find this. Hold on a second. Uh, I'm dating myself or some shit. What? Okay, let me find this. Hold on a minute. Bear with me. 1 second. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. She says, oh, I'm dating myself. All right, yeah, Emma Watson. Had to pull it up real quick. Forgot her name. Had to go find this. This is why men don't want to date you. This is why. This is why we don't want to date feminists. I'm happy to be single. I call it self-partnered. You mean you're an incel? Imagine if a man said this. If a man said this. He'd be called an incel and ridiculed. I'm happy to be single. I call it being self-partnered. First of all, what's wrong with your bangs? Who cuts your hair? Are you trying to look like a vagabond from a 1970s film? Your hair looks atrocious. Sorry to say. You're not a bad-looking girl, although you kind of look like a guy. But what is wrong with your hair? Fix it, okay? Emma Watson says she felt stressed and anxious about turning 30. Yeah, it's called hitting the wall because of pressures on her personal life. Yeah, and now you're gonna, oh, I'm fabulous. No, nobody wants to date you. Here's why nobody wants to date you, Emma Watson. Because you went to Brown University and you're an activist. Okay? You're a feminist. All right? You've got nude photos out there claiming your sexuality or claiming that you're okay with being loose sexually, and you're rich. So where does that leave your dating pool? You're obviously not going to date down because of hypergamy. So where does that leave your dating pool, Emma Watson? You have the opportunity to date other actors who would make as much money or more money than you. That's a pretty small pool. You're going to have to date down. So of course you're feeling anxious about turning 30 because your little biological clock is ticking and saying, hey, I need to have a baby. But you were too busy being a slut the last 5-10 years, putting out nude pictures. You're happy being single. No, you're not. Or else you wouldn't have made a big deal out of it. I was like, this is totally spiel. It took me a long time, but I'm very happy being single. Took you a long time. No, you're not. I could say anything. I could say I'm happy as a black man. That's not going to make it true. I'm a white guy. You're not happy being single, or else you wouldn't have made a big deal out of it. People who are happy don't complain. You're complaining because you're not happy. That's why everybody's making a big deal out of it. And the reason why this is on the BBC is because people are trying to, these liberals in the media are trying to normalize women being single in their 30s. Because guess what? If they're single in their 30s, when they're 40, they can land a Keanu. Right? When a woman looks both beautiful and recognizable middle-aged, it's an occasion for headlines as if she were some kind of sexual yeti who has never been sighted in the wild. I don't know what beauty is exactly, but it's not an objective assessment. Yes, it is. It can be both an inward and an outward objective assessment, but it's definitely not just an inward assessment. Sorry. There was a time when the internet thought Benedict Cumberbatch was beautiful. I don't remember that time, which made me feel like I was having an aneurysm. Okay, that's kind of rude for such a woke feminist writing this. Desirability, though, is not beauty. Stop telling us what the fuck we should think. We think whatever we want to think, Dame Magazine. Desirability is a social construct. Get the hell out of here. Nobody cares about this kind of talk, a social construct. No, it's something we see. It's something our own brains tell us is what we desire. Oh, we see a hot girl, we desire them because they're fucking beautiful. That's all there is to it. Don't tell us, oh, it's just a social construct. Don't tell me what I think. Don't piss down my neck and tell me it's raining. A gestalt made of posture and status and signal and I would response was to let you know this person has subconsciously ticked all the boxes that mark them as someone okay for you to want. That's fucking natural and normal. Women do it all the time. We fall in love or in lust with people's social positions as much as we fall for their faces or their bodies. Well, there you go. There's some truth. Yeah, women are hypergamous. Men don't, though. Men don't fall for women with high. Clearly, nobody wants our old friend Emma Watson. She's a fucking self proclaimed incel, self partnered. What kind of fucking joke is that? These fucking liberals with their LGBTQ talk. Get the fuck out of here. When 50 something men are sex symbols and 40 something women are past their expiration dates, yeah. Well, you did it, ladies. You did it to yourself. It's hypergamy. You did it to yourself. You're the one who choose men for our money. You're the one who prop us up on pedestals if we're rich and famous. Now you're reaping what you sow, and now you got a problem with it. You fucking hypocrites. We're being sent a pretty clear message about whose power is desirable and whose is disgusting. You created it yourself. Women are the ones who are quick to tear down other women for being over the hill. You fucking hypocrite. This is a stern conclusion to reach in response to a photo of Keanu Reeves' girlfriend, and I promise that one day I will write a dignified op. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Equal rights, about the Equal Rights Amendment to make it. Shut the fuck up. Everything you say is hypocritical, attacking men, low-key bashing bullshit. So tired of these feminists and this crap. That's enough for me today. Thanks for listening. Peace.